What is up, everybody? My name is Sam Maxwell. I'm a 27-year-old entrepreneur, and I've been doing e-commerce for just over 7 years. And over the last 7 years, I have spent over $10 million in paid ads, and I've generated over $30 million in online sales. But I'm not here to tell you I'm rich, and it's been all fun and games. I've learned a lot of hard lessons over the last 7 years. I've had a lot of wins. I've also had a lot of losses. And I've learned a lot of priceless things over the last 7 years that have gotten me where I'm at today. I'm currently the co-founder and CMO of The Cold Life, and we are the only American-made cold plunge company in the world. What I'm about to show you in this video is not only free gems to help you if you're currently running a drop shipping or an e-commerce business, but also to motivate you and show you where I started and how I've gotten to where I'm at today. So let's get into it. So back when I was 15 years old, my entrepreneurial path started. I started with a pressure washing company, and I started it without even having a driver's license. I literally used my parents' golf cart and a Home Depot pressure washer with a surface cleaner. If you know what that is, it saves you a lot of time compared to using the wand. And I started just doing driveways. I was charging anywhere from $150 to $300 a job, making several $100s an hour, and it taught me how to work smarter, not harder. And I grew that business into a successful business. As you can see, I got a truck, I got a trailer. I was very fortunate to have a father that also helped invest in the business as well because he saw the potential. And I started doing not only residential jobs, but also commercial jobs. I got into neighborhoods doing all the sidewalk and curbs and etc. As you can see on the right side, just a little quick picture of some checks I was getting. I was getting some checks for $5,000, $2,000, and $3,000. In 2018, I was on a mission to find what was next. I knew the rest of my life I didn't want to be covered in bleach and dirt and cleaning concrete. So I was on a mission, like I said, to figure out what was I going to do after pressure washing? What is my purpose? And that's when I discovered drop shipping. I was super skeptical. I thought it was a scam and ended up giving it a shot. I'm going to show you what that turned into. So in November, I cash apped a guy literally $400. And I was like, listen, I don't want to buy your course and use your course. I want to pay you $400 and instead, in exchange, work with you for an entire weekend, open a store and see if this actually works or not. And as you can see, it worked. November 15th of 2018, I got my first sale for literally $7.98. Within my first 2 weeks drop shipping, I did over $8,000 in revenue. Now, as you can see, my first day with running ads, I did $300 in sales. And a few days after that, I did my first $800 day. And the second week, I had my first ever $1,000 day in sales. I was legitimately selling this product. I was selling a Stan Lee Lego. The person that was teaching me how to drop ship told me that memorabilia products had a lot of success. So I literally went on Google, I typed in famous people that had passed away, and that exact day Stan Lee died. So what did I do from there? I went to AliExpress. I typed in Stan Lee Marvel, and a Lego showed up for 69 cents, and it was like $3 for shipping. I was like, you know what? Let's run with it. I got a website. It's called christmaswishlist.com. I had multiple products on there, and the Lego ended up being my winner. I ran that for about 2 weeks. I did about $8,000 in sales like I showed you, but I noticed my margins started going down and I was losing money, and I noticed the hype of the product was dying. So what did I do? At the time, you can go on Shopify and list your existing business for sale on Market Exchange Place. As you can see right here, I sold the business for an additional $1,300 in profit. So I ended up making about $3,500 to $4,000 my first technically month drop shipping. From there, things just got absolutely crazy. My second month, as you can see, and I opened up multiple stores. I did $20,000 in sales on one store. As you can see, on December 29th of 2018, I hit my first $5,000 day in sales, which was absolutely insane. At least to say, I was hooked. I was obsessed. I was addicted. And then going into 2019 with multiple stores, one of my top performing stores ended up doing $80,000 in roughly 30 days. And then in March, I hit my first $50,000 day in sales. Over my first 365 days drop shipping, I generated over $1 million in sales. And these are three of my top products. I was selling knockoff AirPods, which I called Rocket Pods. I was selling this Rose Bear, which was perfect for Valentine's Day and for people in a relationship. And I also found a really good niche where I made a lot of money. It was just custom gift products for people that were in a relationship. So these custom name necklaces alone made me several $100,000s in sales. And of course, I started posting about my results. I was part of a course. I was part of a program, and I started becoming a coach. And I started getting DMs from my friends. And I figured, why not start with my friends? So I started teaching them. And as you can see, all of them saw a lot of success. Not all of them right away. But as you can see, one of my buddies, as you can see from the dark blue background, this was back in 2019. One of my buddies hit $20,000 in sales extremely fast. And several of my other buddies that I taught in 2019 ended up over the next few years starting their own brands. As you can see, one of my buddies ended up crossing $1 million in sales with a brand that he started that I helped him with. Another one ended up taking his brand to hitting its first $100,000 week. So year by year, I continue to perfect my craft. And here's a brand that I took from $0 to $300,000 in sales in less than 50 days. And I had a small exit at the end. Let's dive into it. So the first week was pretty slow. I was warming it up. I did about $2,400 in sales. As you can see, my conversion rate wasn't too good. And my AOV was about $37. And I sold about 65 total orders. The second week, everything practically tripled. I did about $10,000 in sales. My conversion rate was almost 1%. My AOV was about $40, and I did about 240 orders that week. On week 3, I did $37,000 in sales. My conversion rate continued to go up. It was about a 1.5. My AOV was $41, and I sold just shy of 1,000 orders. Week 4, things went crazy. I did $80,000 in revenue. My conversion rate was a 1.7. My AOV was the same, and I sold over 2,000 orders. Now, the first 2 weeks of December were crunch time. The reason why is because I was advertising you had to order by December 14th for guaranteed shipping to get it by Christmas. I did $175,000 in sales the first 2 weeks of December. My conversion rate yet again went up. It was a 2.3%. My AOV was about the same, and I sold over 4,000 orders in just 2 weeks. In the span of just 44 days, I took this brand from literally $0 to $306,000 in sales. I had a 1.9% conversion rate. My AOV was on average about $42, and I sold over 7,300 units. Now here's just a little bit of proof to show you the 3PL service I was using to fulfill all of my orders. We were working like absolute maniacs to get these orders out the door on time for Christmas. And these are my top 2 performing UGC pieces of content. I literally spent over $50,000 just on these 2 pieces of content, which goes to show you if you have good content, it isn't always about volume, but nowadays it is a creative game and you need more volume than little to push and have the best performing ROAS on your ad spend. But I literally got these ads at the time on Billo.app, and I literally spent, I think, $150 on these 2 creatives. And these 2 creatives alone made me over $200,000 in sales. They were nothing crazy. Just simple unboxing videos of them showing the product and talking about how it was a perfect gift. Now, diving into what did I do right? I found a supplier in the US who was actually local to me. I found an affordable 3PL to ship the orders fast because it was crunch time to get them out by Christmas. I opened up a 0% APR credit card to leverage on my ad spend and expenses. I focused on ad creatives nonstop. It was awesome because it was handheld, so it was super easy to get content with and fast. I had my email and SMS flows set up on day 1 for my pop-up, so people were immediately getting retargeted on email and SMS. I had a cross and post-purchase upsell for the little stand. I sold it for $7.99, and I think I bought it for $1.25. So helped with my margins tremendously. And I diversified my marketing spend. I was not just dependent on Meta. Most of my spend was on Meta, but I also diversified onto Google and Snapchat as well. Now, what did I do wrong? This is the most important. I didn't have any additional upsells. At the time, I didn't have onward for shipping protection to add a few extra dollars on my top line for extra profit. I didn't have a strategic free shipping strategy, as in place an order for $50 or more to get free shipping to encourage people to buy more than one. I depended too much marketing spend on Meta. Over time, that became extremely less profitable due to the competition. I didn't have enough UGC content and social proof as well. I only had a few pieces of UGC content. You're only seeing 2 of the 4 total UGC pieces of content that I had to use for the 44 days that I ran ads. I did not have my books organized from day 1 as well. I just had spreadsheets. Customer service was a nightmare. I did not have that automated. AI was not as big at the time. If it wasn't even around, I don't think. And I did not have somebody on top of customer emails. And 3PL, I found out, could not handle the amount of volume that I sent them so fast. As you can see right here in this picture, we literally sent out over 1,000 units on a record day, but we were not shipping them out fast enough, which became a nightmare. I had tons of returns because people did not end up getting some of their orders by Christmas time. So in summary, what did I do? I went on Flippa.com and I exited this business, but I did not get a crazy multiple. It was a super small exit because it was not a long-term proof of putting sustainable business. So therefore the evaluation was risky. It was super low, but I did get some extra money in my pocket. And from there, it was time to diversify that money, just like I had done in the last prior years, and start something new yet again. So in early 2021, I started a new brand, which I'll dive in right after this, but I also started selling on Amazon. I met a lot of people that were having a lot of success drop shipping on Amazon. Some people were doing FBA, some people were doing FBM. And the nice thing about it that I was hearing was I'm not spending a lot of money on ads. The margins are about the same, if not better, and it's super easy. There's not a lot of competition. So I immediately started and I immediately opened multiple stores, just like I did with drop shipping on Shopify as soon as I saw some success. As you can see, some stores starting off the first 30 days as you're warming them up, I was doing about $5,000 to $10,000 in sales my first week, sometimes my first month. Some stores within a few months, I was scaling up to about $40,000 in sales and revenue in just 30 days. Within a few months, I had some stores doing about $80,000 to $100,000 in sales, as you can see on this screenshot right here. But pay attention to what I posted exactly right here on the story when I posted it back in 2021. Just got this account out of suspension. So as you can see, this store did over $300,000 in revenue within about 6 months. And slowly within 6 months, every store started having different problems, from money being on hold, random suspensions, random accounts deactivated. And keep in mind, I had about 15 clients that I was running automated stores for that I sold them on an automated business to make extra cash flow. They would pay me money up front. I would take a percentage of net profit every single month as well. And they were on track with the numbers at the time to make their money back from anywhere from 8 to 12 months. And everything was working great. But now pay attention to this next slide. Deactivated. Over 15 of the 20 stores I was managing got deactivated within just a few months, halfway through the year of 2021. A lot more in the later on in that year as well. And money was on hold. They weren't releasing the money, and Amazon changed all their policies. And long story short, practically had to close shop and get back to Shopify. At the same time of running the Amazon stores, I did not stop Shopify. I started a new brand, and I started my first ever high ticket business. And we'll get into that now. So during the same time, as you can see the dates right here, from 2021 in October all the way to 2022, I ran a 7-figure high ticket brand. And as you can see, my AOV was $4,000. And I ended up scaling this business from $0 to $1 million in sales in just 94 days. And this is what got me into high ticket e-commerce, which is now obviously why I own the Cold Life. But I wanted to sell something now that I have a passion for, which we'll get into later on. But let me give you a deep dive on this 7-figure brand, which was officially my first 7-figure brand and was a little bit bigger of an exit than Print Your Pick. I was selling these viral 360 spinning photo booths. They were the perfect product to sell the DJs, event planners, and etc. And the way I advertised them was, it was the perfect side hustle. Finance this thing on Klarna for as little as $100 or $200 a month. You can charge anywhere from $100 to $200 an hour. Make your money back from the first hour or 2 hours of the month, and everything else is profit. And people loved it. And then the share station right here was my upsell, because it went perfectly with the photo booth, where any of the content you had in the photo booth would then be transferred to an app on your iPad, where all of your clients could then transfer it, airdrop it, or text it themselves, and then go on with their day. And it was perfect. My AOV sometimes was up to $5,000 to $6,000 due to this upsell, which upsells are always extremely important to have, because upsells are usually what help your margin. And also, I did well with this brand as I found a United States supplier. I found a supplier in Chino, California. The quality was great. The shipping times were just 3 to 5 days. And I was like, this is going to be super easy to scale. There was not much competition. And as you saw with the numbers, I scaled it pretty fast. My first month, I launched it literally on October 1st. I didn't get it sales in the first like 6 to 7 days. I was running Google ads mostly because it was high ticket. So I figured Google would be the best outlet to start off with based off the search volume. There's good search volume, but no one was paying Google ads at the time on 360 photo booths. And as you can see, the numbers started coming in, and I got super cocky, and I called it. I was like, new brand, going to hit $1 million in revenue by the end of the year. I'm calling it now. I did over $250,000 in sales my first 30 days with this brand new product. And orders kept coming in. As you can see, some people were buying 3 of them. I got orders for $10,000, $3,000, $4,000, $2,000, $4,000. It was insane. Instead of getting cha-chings for $7.98 like how I started, or $20 like the Rose Bears, or $20 like the Rocket Pods, or $20 to $30 to $40 like the custom name necklaces, I was getting orders for thousands of dollars. And as you can see right here, I did hit that $1 million in sales. I ended up doing it in 94 days. Email marketing, SMS marketing were huge for this business. As you can see, it contributed over $1 million in the total revenue. And I ended up doing just about $3 million in revenue on this product in about 12 months. Email marketing alone made me $580,000, and SMS marketing made me over $600,000. Now, if you haven't picked up on this already, I'm super transparent, and I'm about to show you the numbers, which no one shows the true numbers online. They just show you the screenshots and they show you the total sales. But everyone always comments, what did you profit? What were your expenses, and etc. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the exact type of person that I am, as I've been telling you, my wins, but also my losses. This month in May of 2022, I netted $76,000. As you can see, here's my costs. Marketing costs has been about $64,000. I had about a 5x ROAS, which is insane. My employee costs, I had a few that were part-time and some salespeople that were just off commission, was about $4,000. Product costs is about $155,000. Transaction fees, a little bit of warehouse rent, subscriptions. I was left after everything about $76,000 in profit off just $315,000 in revenue. My margins were like 25%. But then everything hit the fan. And everything's not all fun and games, like I said at the very beginning of this video. And I knew I should have sold the business earlier on. But I was with a partner at the time. We were 50-50. I wanted to sell. He didn't want to sell. And that is the downside of having a business partner. I couldn't have done this without him, but we couldn't come to an agreement. So we continued to run the store. I thought, let's give Amazon a second try. We have inventory. We have a United States supplier. We can do FBM. There's no way they'll deactivate us. There's no way. After just 2.5 months, as you can see, boom, deactivated. We did about 80K on Amazon, and they held about $15,000 of our money. And still today, years later, never got that money back. Personally, not a fan of Amazon. Additionally, our profit just kept going down. In September of 2022, we only netted $1,000 in profit. As you can see, our sales went down tremendously, about $130,000 in sales. And then the following month in October, we did just $87,000 in sales, and we were in the red. Now we were like, dude, we got to get out of this. We got to sell this company. And that's exactly what we started from there. So from there, we got with websiteclosers.com. We got a broker. It took about 6 months, and we had a great exit. We didn't have a substantial exit. We didn't have an exit that would retire us and it make us millions and millions of dollars. But the most important thing that I have learned over the last 7 years doing e-commerce is everything is a priceless education. We didn't have our books in check like we should have, which I learned on the prior brand, but I did not implement this into this because I was doing Amazon. Amazon fell apart. I had investors I had to get paid back. I had money I was losing. I lost almost all of my money from Amazon. And then additionally, this business then shortly after crumbled. So I was at absolute rock bottom. It took about 4 months after a lot of negotiating. We ended up selling this business. I sold it for more than print your pick. But yet again, I learned a lot of things. And I was like, you know what? I'm never going to let this happen again. But what have I noticed? I have never sold anything that I have a passion for. And that is when I took a break. I started a marketing agency for a little bit, continuing to have money come in the door because obviously I got to live. I got to pay my bills. But after a few months of running a marketing agency, I was like, dude, I don't want to run a marketing agency. I was built and I love doing e-com and I love seeing something from zero to finish. I love growing something from start to finish. And I want to sell something I have a passion for. I've learned from the hard way. I personally don't want to sell a product from China ever again. My last 2 brands, I had US suppliers and I loved that. But I was like, what am I going to sell? And I looked at everything I'd done the last 7 years and I was like, you know what? I really liked high ticket, but I want to sell to a high income demographic. But what is that going to be? And that was when, within a few months, I discovered that I was going to start the Cold Life. And the real reason why I started the Cold Life is because I was addicted to Adderall. I battled with severe ADHD from an extremely young age, and I became dependent on my medication. And it made me a horrible person. I wouldn't sleep for days and days and days. Then I would sleep an entire day, and then I would just do it again. And then when I ran out of my medication, I would lose my mind. I would have to find people to buy it from. I'd buy as many as I could, and I would take 1 or 2 or 3 a day. I lost like a total of like 40 pounds at one point. I was down to like 145 pounds. I was a complete asshole to my family, my friends, and I was super addicted. And at one point, I ran out of my meds and I couldn't find any, and I had to find an alternative. And I discovered that cold water could possibly give me the dopamine hit and the mental clarity and the energy boost that would give me the same type of feeling that Adderall would. So I bought a barrel, I bought it iced, I started doing it every single day. And within 2 weeks, I noticed I'm not thinking of Adderall anymore. This has absolutely changed my life. Ding, ding, ding. This could be my thing. So I looked at the product and I was like, you know what? The barrel I had at the time, I really liked the vertical design compared to any others that I had tried because it was easier to breathe. It was space efficient. And I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, you know what? The only thing I don't like is that I have to buy ice every day and the water gets nasty super fast. I was literally holding a tumbler cup in my hand. And I was like, what if I could create a human-sized Yeti cup? So I put my brains together. I got with my partners and we literally dropped everything else we were doing. And we spent a full year to develop the product that we have now been selling for over 3 years. And we have successfully sold over 6,000 units of the Cold Life cold plunges. So if you haven't heard of my brand, The Cold Life, we are, like I said at the very beginning of the video, the only American-made cold plunge in the world. And we're the only customizable cold plunge in the world. So I took a lot of things that I learned over the last 7 years. I knew customization products work really, really well. People like to customize stuff. And additionally, I took things that I liked from the things I've done in the last 7 years, which was high ticket sales, like I said. But the last high ticket product that I sold was to a low income demographic, and it was a nightmare on the customer service side. So I was like, you know what? We'll do high ticket, but let's sell a premium unit to high demographic people. I think that would be a lot more enjoyable. We're also collecting a lot better customer data. And I'm going to show you a few quick videos so you can learn a little bit about the product I created. As you can see, we're working with gyms like Gold's Gym. We're in over 100 commercial locations around the country right now. Here's a quick video of our fulfillment center down here in Miami. We're shipping out anywhere from 25 to 50 cold plunges a day currently. As you can see, my team's currently uploading some logos on some custom tubs for a gym. That one was in Nashville, Tennessee that we just sold, I think, 10 units to. And then here's a video I took a few months back at our manufacturing facility, which, keep in mind, Founders content works extremely well. If you're not running it right now, I definitely suggest that you do. And only American-made cold plunge on the market. All our products are made of aerospace grade aluminum. So they weigh about 70 pounds. So they're super portable, but they're still really, really high quality. And additionally, we've hit a lot of milestones with this business. It is remarkable to say that Gary Brecka is an equity partner in the cold life, also Mark Wahlberg. And we've sold our cold plunges to some of the top, most influential people in the world, like John Jones, the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Now, I'll show you a little bit of success. I don't like to show my numbers. Everything's private. But as you can see, this year, our net profit has gone up over 3,000%. Our sales are up over 1,100%. My ad spend is up over 1,300%. And as you can see, my ROAS is actually down a little bit, which is crazy to believe because our ROAS blended for this entire year is a 4.5x, which is crazy. As you can see, over the last 60 days, our profit is yet again up 130%. Our sales are up another 30%. And my ad spend is down 16%, which is crazy to think because of the uptick of the other two things that I listed. And as you can see, our ROAS is up right now to a blended 6.3x, which is actually crazy. If you run ads, you know. Now, to show you a little bit behind the scenes, give you a little bit of free gems, whitelisted ads work like crazy. I was given this advice about 6 months from a guy named Hudson who runs Comfort Clothing. And he told me, he's like, listen, dude, I don't even sell high ticket, but I'm telling you right now, you need to get micro influencers and run whitelisted ads. And I promise you, it will give you outstanding, unbelievable results. I went with it. I rocked with it. As you can see, alone over the last 60 days, I've spent over $100,000 on whitelisted ads. I'm consistently uploading more week by week. Obviously, it's a high ticket product, so it's a little bit more complicated exchanging product for content because there's a lot more an investment on my end. So I currently sell products at cost to creators, so I don't lose. That's me investing into them, but also them investing into their health. And as you can see, it's averaged over a 5.5x. So I definitely recommend you to run whitelisted ads if you're not doing that already as well. Additionally, founders content works super well, like I just said before. As you can see, this is literally my campaign. Over the last 60 days, I have spent, I've spent $7,700, and the average ROAS on this campaign is a 8.6x. Insane. Run founders content, like I said. Trust. And just to show you a few examples, you can literally go on a podcast like I did. This is one of my top performing ads right now. Or literally a selfie video in your fulfillment center or at your office or whatever. And I have my partner do it. As you can see as well, we're in a high ticket space, which Google is powerful for any brand, but especially for brand search as a high ticket product. People see our ads on Meta or somewhere else, and they're going to cross reference and check us on Google. So as you can see, over the last 60 days alone, I've spent only 161 grand for over $1 million in revenue on Google. All right, so one last free gem for you. If you are not doing shipping protection at checkout, add it today. It is easy money, raises your AOV, and helps your profit margins. As you can see, I recently added to my business. I personally use Onward. They take anywhere from 30 to 50%, and all the rest is straight profit in your pockets. As you can see, since I've added it, over 370 orders have added it to their carts and actually purchased it, and that's a 65% take rate and attachment rate. So as you can see, also, I'm a high ticket brand, meaning people are adding my ultimate plunge, which is just over $6,000. That's an extra $283 at checkout, which means I'm taking home anywhere from 50 to 70% of that money. You don't have to do it with Onward. You can hard code it yourself, or you take all the profit. I personally use Onward just because of the claims. As you can see, we've had no claims because my product is phenomenal. The quality is awesome, and my customer service is awesome, which is super important for your business. Always invest extra money into customer service and making sure everyone is happy with your product, because word of mouth is powerful still nowadays. And on top of that, reviews are important. And also, you always want people to be repeat customers. When you launch a new SKU, which my company right now, we're releasing a lot of new SKUs soon, which therefore all of our cold plunge companies, I feel overly confident in. They are going to continue to buy more products that we release because they like the experience from day one, from the first product they bought from us. Now, if you watch this entire video and you currently own a e-commerce business and you are struggling to take your business to the next level, reach out to me and see if you qualify to be one of my next clients. I am currently helping a handful of people take their business to the next level. As you can see, I've been doing this for 7 years. I'm transparent, I'm authentic, and I got a lot of skills up my sleeve, and I am ready to help you take your business to the next level. If that's you, reach out to me. We'll set up a call and we'll see if we can work together.